Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is the latest show from the MCU starring Hudson Thames as Peter Parker, following him through his freshman year and his earliest days as Spider-Man. Now, before we get into the review, I want to cover my quick thoughts on what I thought before the show came out. This one was a bit concerning. It's been in the making for at least 4 years from its first reveal, and it seemed kind of scary at first. A lot of stuff coming out from the show did not look good, to say the least. Now, this isn't MCU Spider-Man. This is actually its own separate universe. This show was originally shown as MCU Spider-Man's origin all the way back in 2021, even before No Way Home came out, which later got turned into its own sort of project with its own Spider-Man, which with its end product, I think it's for the better. Now, in this video, we're only going to be talking about the first 2 episodes, which have just came out on Disney+, and I'm just going to be giving you my spoiler thoughts. Episode 1 opens up with Peter missing the train for his high school orientation, which literally gets crashed anyway, with Doctor Strange coming through a portal fighting a big Venom-like monster. It's confirmed it is a symbiote, it's just not Venom. Now, this is a really cool fight. They do a lot of cool stuff with the animation and Doctor Strange using his powers, but it's also a weird origin for Peter, like, to open up your first episode with Doctor Strange, who is also shown to not be a known hero in the universe.
Wait, where are we? Oh no, we're not supposed to be here.
Feels kind of off, if you get what I mean. But after that, you see like a spider fall through the portal, because it just stays open while they're fighting, so all this crap could just be falling out. But it's just the spider's hanging there on a web. So when Doctor Strange gets done fighting, it closes and the spider drops down on Peter's neck as he's meeting this new girl, Nico, which they're both freshmen in this show. So he passes out. After that, we get a few months time skip where, you know, Peter's late for school again. And then instead of taking the train, which he misses, he goes and swings, where he runs into Harry being mugged by some random criminals, which he then falls in the street and gets almost hit by a car, with Spidey just swinging down and saving him there. Once Peter makes it to school, we find out about the crush for the series Pearl, which is also a comic character. Like, there's a whole bunch of different comic references in this show. Almost every character is going to turn into a hero or villain, which leads us to him meeting Lonnie, who is like the jock, which I thought was Flash for a bit because I just didn't pick up on his name and they didn't bother to say it anymore. I thought it was just a racial swap of Flash, but it actually turned out to be Lonnie, who will turn into Tombstone later on, which will be really cool because we also get built up a whole bunch of heroes and stuff throughout these first 2 episodes. We get to see Peter's relationship grow with Lonnie throughout this first episode and just begin to relate to him more. And then it goes after school, we get to see more of like the woke stuff. They make jokes before about like Nico being gay and stuff, so it's like it's a woke show, but it's like X-Men 97 kind of woke. It's not like forced down your throat. It's subtle, like it's natural, it feels normal. So we see how Flash has some racial prejudice against him. When he's walking home, you see like just police acting weird, kind of following him and all this stuff, which really shows what people could be struggling with, which really sucks. But we also see it continue through Peter stopping this lady who is robbing a pizza guy, and he really shows sympathy to her because the episode shows how she's just down on her luck and she's just doing whatever she can to survive. It's really interesting to see how they tackle all these different things and just really show Peter being there for the neighborhood. I really liked seeing all these little adventures Peter would go on, where he's just stopping small crime and just being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. They really put the friendly neighborhood back in the Spider-Man in this show. It's not like MCU Peter, where he just goes straight to being like with all these big league heroes. We actually get to see like Peter just being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, we saw small stuff like that in Homecoming, but it was like a montage. We actually feel and see everything now, which is really nice. Peter goes back to May's apartment where they recreate the shot from Civil War. And instead of Tony there, it's Norman.
Peter, hey, how was school today?
It was okay.
Overall, I'd say I'd really like this episode. Another thing I'd really like to highlight with it is the intro animation. It's beautiful, bro. They go full comic-y, all these different panels and everything. So many references. The song, I wish it was like an original theme, but which it technically is, but it's using a remix of the Spider-Man theme song. one of the only problems I have with this series is they kind of just skipped over Peter learning responsibility in this whole thing. Like, Uncle Ben's already dead by the time we open up the show, and he gets his powers and we just skip a few months. I don't feel Peter learning his responsibility. Like, what's his why of becoming Spider-Man? We don't know. We just aren't shown it, which is very interesting to me. I hope we get to see flashbacks of Uncle Ben or something. Overall, I'd say it's still good. It's not like a huge problem. I liked all the Spider-Man stuff we got in it. It's just that the whole why of Peter being Spider-Man isn't really explained enough for my liking. I don't know. Now to my other problem with the show. We got the voice acting, which has some really weird casting choices, and just how characters act. I like Hudson as Peter. It's just Aunt May is a really weird choice for the direction. Not just in her voice, which just sounds off. They should make her seem really old. They make her seem older than she is. Like, she seemed kind of, I don't know, out of touch, kind of. Like, I feel like MC Aunt May would understand technology, you know? She seemed pretty young. It's just this one seems kind of stupid, if I'm honest. Like, she kind of acts pretty stupid throughout the show. Which, it's weird, but it doesn't become as big of a problem in episode 2. Another thing I really like is how they showed Peter as really that awkward teen, and they really captured that whole energy. Just the way he acts, how he talks to people. Another highlight I like to talk about, there's a lot of references to Civil War, and all, like, the stuff that Peter was doing as Spider-Man. They like, recreate a lot of those same shots in the animation, and they show just so much more of it. It's really cool. Especially how the episode closes, how it's basically a remake of Tony meeting Peter, but with Norman. It's like that, but the energy's different. I really don't understand it, because it goes on later. Like, Tony knew Peter was Spider-Man, but Norman doesn't. Like, you figure that out later. Norman didn't know. I would have thought he would have went to him because he knew he was Spider-Man. It makes no sense to me currently of why Norman went to Peter. Is he just known as, like, a bright mind? Like, did he just pick anyone from that school and that's who he ended up with? Going into episode 2, we see Peter go into Oscorp and just start his internship. He meets these new interns from across the globe. We got a Wakandan girl, who is one from the comics. We have Amadeus Cho, and we get this other girl. She's also a character from the comics. They're setting up all these different heroes. So it's gonna be more like Ultimate Spider-Man, where they kind of build out a team. I'm not too sure. Peter also meets his first teacher there, which is Dr. Whitman, which is the character Wizard from the Fantastic Four comics. I didn't know who that was until I looked it up, realizing that it is this one guy from Lego Marvel Superheroes who I really liked. I just didn't know. I don't know much about him. His other teacher we get introduced to is Dr. Connors, which will probably turn to a lizard. Like, it's Kurt Connors, but they change the first name and they make it a woman and a black woman, which is different, which it doesn't really bother me. It's not like being a man or being white was part of his characters. It's just different. After Peter gets done at the lab, he tries to go to the party, but then he gets stopped by a crime where this guy is, like, burning down a building. And it literally turns out that he's burning down the wrong one. He then gets into a fight with this guy where he tries to save all these animals and everything. After he stops him, Dr. Connors messaged him to asking where he is because he's not at the lab where he's supposed to be, where he then gets called by Osborn, where it actually is revealed that Osborn found out that Peter is Spider-Man by him changing in their stairway. Overall, I'd say this episode's pretty good. It really goes along with the first one, which makes me understand why they did it as a 2-part intro and why they're probably going to do these bunches of episodes. I don't think it's because they had no faith in the show, like people thought. I think it's because a lot of the time, these episodes are connected for the most part. Overall, I can't wait to see where the show goes, with all its characters, seeing how they will evolve, and Peter getting his Oscorp Future Foundation. Overall, I'd say I really like these 2 episodes. It's a great intro to the series. I think it's way better than expected. I really like our main characters. It would have been nice to see that MJ, Ned, and just all the other characters. Like, where's Flash? they just don't exist. It makes no sense, to me at least, but it's just where we're at. I think for what it is, it's really good, and I'm excited to get more. I'll make sure to review all these episodes as they come out. Let me know what you guys think of the show below. Have a great day. See ya.